Welcome back everybody, my name is Awais and welcome to the JavaScript video 4. In this video we are going to talk about operators. So the common operators in any programming language, we have arithmetic operators. They are plus, minus, multiply, division. Now we can use them like 5 plus 5, 5 minus 5, 5 multiplied by 5, 5 divided by 5. And we can use them with the variables as well. So here you can see I'm creating a variable addition which is equal to a plus b. So there's a variable a which has a value in it and a variable b which has a value, and we are adding those variables. It could be strings, it could be numeric digits. So the next thing what we're going to talk about is shorthand. Arithmetic operators are very common in any programming language, so we have a shorthand for them. Let me show you an example. So we have list is equal to list plus 10. What it's doing here, it's adding 10 to the list variable. Well, you can write this, but there's a better way to do this. If I show you list plus equal to 10, it's actually doing the same thing. It's taking the list variable and adding 10 to it. Obviously we have plus equal to, and then we have plus equal to for minus equal to, multiply equal to, divide equal to. So we have all of these four, and you just add equal to sign next to it and then the value you want to add to the variable. Next, JavaScript has this operator precedence. Let me give you an example. So list equal to 10 plus 10 multiplied by 20. So what it's going to do here, if you can give a guess, you might think that it will add 10 plus 10, 20, and then it will multiply 20 to 20, which is going to give me 400. So that would be in the list value, right? But this is actually wrong. So what it's going to do, it's going to multiply 20 to 10 first and then add 10 to 10. So the answer would be 210. So multiplication operator has a precedence over addition. But let's say you want to make sure that we add 10 plus 10 first and then multiply to 20. Then you can use parentheses and you can surround your code with the parentheses. So now we added a parenthesis here. That means 10 plus 10 would be 20, and then it will be multiplied by 20, and then we get the value 400. Let me give you an example. So we create two variables. We have one variable here, a. We'll actually use that. So now we can say 10 plus 10 and then multiply 20. Okay, and then we can alert this, and I'm going to type variable name and then save the file, and then let's refresh this page, and the answer is 210. Now as you can see, it's multiplying 10 with 20 and then adding 10 to it. But what if I add parentheses around 10 plus 10? So it will execute this block of code first, and then the answer will be multiplied to 20. Now let's save the file and we refresh the page again, and now the answer is 400. Now I think you understand what I mean. Now let's go back to the presentation. The next thing we're going to talk about is comparison operators. Now we have assignment operator, we have equality operator, and we have a strict equality operator. Let's look at the example. I'm going to create two variables, var a. I'm going to set this to 20, and then we're going to create another var b is equal to, in the quotation, 20, and then we will use the condition statement. Let's write if, add a condition in the parentheses, so a equal to b. Then what it should do, add a code block here, and then we'll say let's alert they are equal. Okay, after finishing this statement we type else. If they're not equal, then print out alert they are not equal. All right, let's save the file and let's go to the browser. Let's refresh the page. And now you can see they're telling me they are equal. Well, how? You can see this is a numeric value and this is a string value 20. But JavaScript is like it's not that strict compared to Java. So what it will do, it will just say that, oh, A is a numeric value, has a different data type, but B has the same value in it. So I would just assume that this is the same variable. But what if we change this to double equal to? Let's save the file. Now let's refresh that again. And then it's still telling you, yes, they are equal. Now, the difference between a double equal to and one equal to is that basically if we change this to A is equal to B, that means it's setting the A value to B. Okay, so what if we just write on a document, let's just say document dot write, and then we'll write the value of A. Okay, and now I'm going to refresh the page. We click OK, and you see this value 20 there. Okay, so what is going on here, that basically it's setting the value for A value to B with using single equal to sign. That's the assignment operator. Well, we need to check whether it's equal to or not. So then we use double equal to. Now it's not setting the value of A to B, but it's actually checking whether A is actually equal to 20. So that's the difference. Now we have seen that it is going to give us the same. Yes, they are equal. Now what if we add another equal to? This is called strict equality. Now if I refresh the page, well, we need to save the file. Let's save this file, and then we go and refresh the page, and now you can see this telling me they are not equal. Why? Because we have told the JavaScript compiler that we need to check strictly. We need to check data type, we need to check the values in it. So now if I change this to 20, save the file, and then we refresh the page, and now they are equal because they have the same data type and the same value in it. Now let's go back to presentation. And here we have a comparison operator, and then we have equal to, which sets the value of B to A, and the exclamation mark basically means that A is not equal to B. And then we have seen the strict equality with 3 equal to sign. Now we have a greater than, less than, greater than equal to, less than equal to. So let's understand them. Let me take you back to the code and we will change the value here. Now I'm going to change this A greater than to B. Let's save the file, and we're going to refresh the page. And now as you can see, they are not equal. So that means 2020, they're not equal because we are getting the second statement to be executed, because 2020 A is not greater than B, because 20 is not greater than 20. Now if we change this to greater than equal to sign, now save the file, let's go and refresh the page, and now they are greater because we're saying that if A is equal to or greater than B, then run this statement, otherwise run this statement. All right, so that's the difference between. Now let's go back to the presentation. All of these, you understand what they mean. Now we have a logical operator, and sometimes in a condition statement you have to have 2 conditions to be true, and then you want to execute some kind of statement. So for that we use this AND sign. Now let's go to our code, and we are going to say, let's say I will create a few more variables here. So let's type varc, we set that equal to, let's say 30, and then var d is equal to, let's say 40. Add a semicolon, save the file. Now we can add another if statement here. Let me delete this, and then what we're going to do here, I'm going to say if A is greater than equal to B, and spacebar, and now we type the and sign, ampersand sign, so twice ampersand sign, right? And then we can add another statement here. So I would say if a greater than equal to b, and I want to check if c is less than equal to d, and then we're going to execute this. So I'll say document dot write, and then we write yes they are. We'll just say condition is true, condition is true, add a semicolon. I'm going to delete this document.write 8, and then we can say else document.write, and we can write condition is not true. All right, let's save the file. Let's go back to the, I'm gonna refresh it, and it's telling me condition is true. And let's look at the condition. So if a is greater than equal to b, that means a has to be equal to or greater than b, which is exactly right. So a value is 20, b value is 20, which sets it to equal to b. So this condition is true. And then c less than equal to d. So if c is less than or equal to d, so we can see that the 30 is less than 40, so that condition is true as well. Now I'm going to change this to, let's say, 50. Okay, now let's save the file, and now we should have the second condition to be executed. So let's refresh the page, and we can say that the condition is not true. Now this is the and ampersand sign, which checks the both conditions. So the both condition has to be true. We have another operator. So we have another operator, or operator. Okay, so what it does, it basically checks one of the condition must be true, and then the return value will be true. So we can say or, so a greater than equal to b, which is 20, 20, which is this condition is true. We know that, right? But the program doesn't know yet. So I'm saying or c less than equal to d, and c is not less than equal to d because the value of c is 50. So this condition is false. So because we're using the or operator, so even one of these conditions will be true, then we can run this code here, or otherwise it will go to the else clause. Now let's save the file, and we should get condition is true as output. Now refresh the page, and you can see condition is true. So let's go back to the presentation. Now we have something called increment and decrement. So we added a, if we want to add a 1 to any value, we add it by just setting like a is equal to a plus 1. This is a long way to do it. We have seen this before, but I want to show you this a plus plus operator. So we have the shorthand form, which is plus equal to 1, which will add 1 to a. But we have even shorter, we have a plus plus, that's called increment operator. And obviously we got b minus minus for decrement operator. It's the same thing. If you want to subtract 1 from your variable value, then you can use b minus minus. So the shorthand is minus equal to 1, and then even shorter you can use simply b minus minus, which will subtract a 1 from your variable value. Now we have this a is equal to a plus 1, which is the increment operator, and b for the minus. So there's a thing called prefix and postfix. So I'll give you an example of this by writing a code as well. So we have this a plus plus and b minus minus. So here we're adding 1 to the variable, and here we're subtracting 1 to the variable. But what if I add plus plus before the variable name? What's the difference if we add plus plus before the variable name? So that is called pre-increment or pre-decrement. We have this post-increment and post-decrement here. Now let's go back to the code. I'm going to clear up the code here. Now we have the variable a, which has the value of 20. I'm going to change this to, let's say, some 5, and let's save the file. And now we are going to print out this in the alert box. So alert, and just type a, add semicolon, And let's go and refresh the page, and we should see 5 as a value. Now I'm going to type a++ here, which will add the value to our a variable. It will add 1 to our a value. Okay, I think I've saved the file. Let's go back and then just refresh it. Now you can see we still have 5, but we were expecting 6 instead, right? So what is going on here? We are basically printing out a, and then we are incrementing the value. So the compiler pop up the alert box by the actual value a has. So right now a has 5, and after that it get incremented. So what if I change the value to ++a, and now we should get the value 6. Let's save it, and now let's look at it. Now you can see 6. So the pre-increment basically increments the value first and then execute that statement. And the post increment does not increment the value, but just execute the statement, and after that it add 1 to the actual value. So that's the difference between post and pre. Now we have this ternary operator. I'll explain in a second. Let's go back to the code. You might have not heard of this statement before in any of the programming language. So for that, I'm going to give you a demo here. So we have a variable a. I'm going to create another variable b, and I'm going to set the value of, let's say, 6 here. Now let's go and add a condition statement. I'm going to say here, if a greater than b, then we want to print out the a is greater than b. So we can actually create a variable c, and we can add a string to it. So let's just say a greater than b. Add a semicolon. Now here we can just simply print out alert c. Okay, and else we can say, we can print out something else, alert a is not greater than b. Okay, you see this whole lot of code here that we have to write. So there is an alternative for that. I'm going to comment this out by just typing this, and we finish the comment here. Okay, let me show you the easiest way and the quicker way. You might come across with this statement in JavaScript programming. So what we do, we create another variable, or maybe we can just simply use this c variable. I'm going to delete here, and then I'm gonna here say, I'm gonna open the parentheses, and I'm going to say if a greater than b, and then the question mark, it's gonna ask for it. So C gonna store the value of if it's true or false. So if a greater than b, then we can add question mark and then the actual value what we want to print. So first value is going to be true, and the second is going to be false. So what we're gonna show is alert, and then here we can type yes, or maybe we can just type true, and then add a colon here. So make sure you add colon, not the semicolon. And now it's a false value. So the false value, we can say alert false, and that's it. So that whole of the code you can write in a single line, in a single statement. Now let's save the file and let's see what we get. So we should get true or false. Now it's false. Now let's see why. Because it's telling me a greater than b. A is not greater than b. So actually b is greater than a. So what we can do, we're gonna change this 5 to 8. Now we make it true. Let's save the file, and now a is greater than b. So this is true. Now we should get the value true. As you can see here, that's true. So that is a ternary statement that you might come across and you might be confused about it. What the hell is this? Well, the more traditional way is to use ifs and else clause, but you can use this statement as well. So that's it for this presentation, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back with the next part of our JavaScript. And make sure you subscribe to the channel, and if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. You can follow me on Twitter at Awais01, and please join our Facebook group for programmers. So it's gonna help you a lot. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Cheers.